Hey guys, it's Kat, and I'm really excited to be here today because I'm showing you my favorite area in Dubai, CityWalk. This has been my area of expertise since I started real estate. I know it inside out, and I've got quite a few units that I get to show you today. Some layouts which are very rare and almost never vacant, so I'm gonna get to show you those, which I'm actually really excited about. And of course, I'm going to answer some common questions that I get and some fun facts that a lot of people don't know about the area. So stay tuned. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. I post content like this all the time and try to give you tours and information about all kinds of real estate projects across Dubai. Let's get started. We've reached CityWalk 2, where we've got lots of food. We're in CityWalk 1. This is the original CityWalk mall. You've got stores, you've got fitness, you've got a nice area to walk around with children. So in terms of accessibility for the community, it's just great. And of course, you've got amazing views. I think the first thing which is important to keep in mind in CityWalk is how many buildings are there. So there are 25 buildings in CityWalk. However, if you want to count exactly each building, then there would be more because some of the buildings are numbered A and B, meaning there would be two under one number. Does that make sense? There's 6A and 6B, 4A and 4B. So this kind of affects the actual numbers, but in general, when we discuss CityWalk, we're talking about 25 buildings roughly. The next thing to keep in mind is that a lot of these buildings, the full buildings, are owned by individuals or by companies. That's because when CityWalk was sold off plan, there were a lot of investors that came in, bought in bulk. And I'm not saying bulk, I'm saying like big bulk, like 1, 2, 3 buildings. On top of that, Miraz, who is the developer, kept some of these buildings and didn't sell them. What do they do with these buildings? Well, they rent them out, and they do very well, and they're always occupied. And even when there is any availability for rent from Miraz, of course, they inform expert agents in the area, like myself, but we rent them out immediately, within a matter of hours, because obviously everyone wants to rent from the developer. You have excellent maintenance, and yeah, as a whole, it's an amazing opportunity. So the next thing we want to discuss is what are the difference with the buildings? Well, one of the main difference I would say is rooftop pool. Not every building in CityWalk has a rooftop pool, and not every building has their own pool. A lot of these buildings are going to share with the building next to them. So not every building has their own pool. Not every building has a rooftop pool. That might be something that you're looking for, and an expert like myself in the area will be able to tell you exactly which buildings you should be considering based on what you want. The next thing I want to talk to you about is the layouts. So there are two types of layouts in CityWalk. I refer to them as light wood and dark wood. Light wood buildings are going to have a different type of finishing. They're going to have a different master bath. They're going to have different layouts. They're going to have different storage options. So instead of a storage room, so to speak, you'll get closet storage in the outside hallways. Dark wood buildings are going to have an actual storage room. They're going to have dark wood flooring as opposed to light wood flooring. They're going to have a different master bathroom, and they're going to have a few different other things about them that make them unique. Especially when we look at the balconies, that's one of the biggest changes. So dark wood balconies are made in wood. They have wood paneling on the actual balcony. There do tend to be some issues with that because the wood can warp and whatnot, but aesthetically wise, I personally prefer them. When we look at light wood buildings, we're talking about balconies that are made in stone tiling. Sometimes even the actual border of that balcony might not be in glass, especially for light wood buildings, which might not be something you like. So these are all things to keep in mind. The next thing I want to tell you is maid's room. So every single layout in CityWalk comes with a maid's room, unless it's a 1-bedroom. Newer launches like Central Park, that's not the case. CityWalk is extremely popular, I'd say, not just for that, but for the actual sizing that you find in the community. So your smallest one bed is going to be around 900 square feet. And they go all the way up to 1,400. Your 2 bedrooms are going to start at 1,530 square feet, around the 1,500 mark. They go all the way up to 2,200 for very rare layouts, one of which I actually have available for sale. Your 3 bedrooms are going to start as low as 2,000 square feet. They can go all the way up to 2,800, 3,000 square feet. It just depends. You do have 4 bedrooms, simplex, and then 4-bedroom penthouse. The difference between those is the penthouse is going to have a terrace and a private pool. You don't have larger than 4 bedrooms in CityWalk itself. They did make that in Central Park if that's what you're looking for. If you want a duplex, they do exist. There are 2-bedroom duplexes, but those are still owned by Miras and they're only for rent. You can find very easily, well, not very easily, but more commonly 4-bedroom duplexes. They're still rare, but of the duplexes, you'll find the most of them. So I'm gonna head in, show you some layouts. If you guys have questions, or maybe you're looking in the area and you have certain things that you like, you want a rooftop pool, or you want light wood, or you want these things, drop me a comment, make an inquiry on my website, get in touch with me by Instagram. I can help you. I know the area inside and out. I know the buildings which are for sale. I know the buildings which are for rent. I'm very up to date in everything that's happening here. So whatever you're looking for, 100% I can find it. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested to know more about CityWalk, maybe you have questions, you own a property here, you want to rent or sell, or maybe yourself, you're starting to think about the possibility of buying here, get in touch with the link in my bio, drop me a comment, and I will connect with you. See you later.